like that, it's like, damn, bro. Like, it's like, bro.
That can lead to more work, more opportunity.
Yeah, you just never know. Like, same thing what happened with El Alfa.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a thing. And then you know what I mean? So it was like we were communicating with them directly. So it's like, so at that moment, for stuff like that, it's like, man, somebody could have seen that. You just never know. You know, happened with Fab too. One time Fab used my photos on Instagram. On like his stories, but it was kind of like the same concept. And stuff.
I remember that.
But then other artists like
for Fab too.
The Fab stuff was like some of my favorite photos I've ever taken from concerts. But then like fucking Dave East posted my shit, and I didn't even know. Like I wasn't, but they tagged me too. He tagged me, like he was. So like they posted. I forgot this other kid's name. There's another kid that's out here. You worked with him before. Who? I forgot what's his Instagram name.
Is it Visuals?
Yes,
Austin,
amazing. Austin, yeah, man. I mean,
Austin's so fire.
Yeah,
so fire.
Austin, Visuals.
Yeah,
Visuals.
man.
It's just visuals.
Visuals.
Just so.
I guess I don't pronounce it like that.
How do you use it?
I gotta ask Austin.
I've never pronounced it. Like I've always just like said it in my head when I read it.
Visuals. What's up, my boy?
Bro, his shit is fire. I've always been a huge fan of his. And like I remember when I went and somebody sent me something from Dave East, and when I saw they posted him, and I was like, holy shit! And I tagged him. He's like, yeah, I just noticed about it. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I'm just like going through his page. It was like 1 a.m. I'm going through his page, and like 2 photos later, I like see my photo. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, and they didn't tag me. And then I looked down, and it's like they tagged me. I was like, what the fuck?
Damn, you didn't even notice.
Yeah. So, but stuff like that's dope, man. You know what I mean?
Is there like, I know you. So all right. So what? How did you how did you get started, bro? I need to know.
With like photography in general?
Photography, in general.
Well, I got started back in 2017. I think I've always wanted to do something like that. I just didn't think that I didn't think that I was capable of. I just thought it was like something different from like me and somebody who's actually doing something. I was like so insecure that I couldn't get past that point. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, it was like, oh, I wish I could do that. You know what I mean? That's the way that I used to say it. It's what, to me, so some of the worst thing that I've ever said to myself is just like, I wish I could do that. I would say it to myself all the time. That was just like part of my life.
Yeah.
And like with Jabron, you know, Jabron's a fucking model. So like, I would go or photo shoot with Jabron, and I'd be like, oh man, I wish I was doing something like this, but I just couldn't. I just didn't think I could do it. And then once it kind of hit me that I was capable of, I just have to fucking put in the work and stuff. I was like, oh, I'm starting. And then I started late. You know, to me, I started late because I was like 29 when I started. And then I remember...
Better late than never.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Never late is better.
100%.
They say time is money.
Let's
We'll
spend it
together. I'm down for whatever. Anyway.
He's a big Drake fan this week. This week, he's a big fan.
Oh, this week?
This week he's a big Drake fan.
Ever since that photo?
Ever since the
video.
I'm sorry. He's a
big Drake fan.
Yeah, this whole week he's walking around the crib like, best I ever had. Best I ever had.
He's like...
No, I don't know. Murph is the one who explained to me in detail what was going on with the slinky.
I just know from your podcast, from the one with Victor.
Murph is the one who explained.
Yo, that's very accurate. It's pretty accurate.
I just saw Victor's face when you asked him, and he's just like, oh, wow. Just
I heard it was wild. I was like, yo, my man Drake's bugging out here, but yo, good for you. If you packing like that, my nigga, you want to...
Yeah, and he's like the biggest artist ever.
It's not a bad... at least this day and age, it's not a bad thing to put out, I guess.
No, it's funny. He had a concert last night, and he was like, I just want to address all the rumors. He's like, yes, my dad is here. Give it up for my dad.
Nah, he could, man. And where he's at too, he's not in a relationship. He's not in, you know what I mean?
That's such a good look,
He's a bachelor. And realistically, he didn't need a good look. Like, it's not like some girl's gonna be like, I wasn't gonna sleep with you until I saw that video. You know what I mean? Like,
you know how many DMs is probably like, yo, I cannot wait to...
His DMs are probably already crazy, but I bet like a whole new... like portion opened up.
Yeah. It's probably like,
but he has to have that rap. But I mean, whatever it is, he has to have that rap in that area because he seems to be. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing new.
Yeah, he's a lover boy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So it's like this shit.
So
the girls are like, yeah, either that or if it's fake, some girls are gonna be like, yo, that's not Drake. Like, I know that's not Drake.
And nobody's debated it.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's debated it. And there's plenty of women out there that could be like, that's not him.
Yeah.
Like that. There's none of that shit going on. I don't know. I think Jake is goals with like the way he lives and the ultimate bachelor lifestyle.
Oh, for sure.
If you're looking for a bachelorette lifestyle.
Bachelorette?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a bachelor.
that is what Josh is looking for.
Yeah. If you're looking for a bachelor, I could imagine. I mean, but he's a whole nother stratosphere. There's only like a handful of people who's ever had a life like that.
His crib is like $100 million. Yeah.
But I don't want a crib like that, bro. I don't want a huge crib.
I do.
I could see. I mean, look at this house.
Yours would be full of family though. I'm sure he's got people living there, but yours would literally be like probably.
Yeah, but even then, we wouldn't even need to see each other. As big as a crib that is, going down the hallways and then playing the full court.
I haven't seen it, but I just assume
you've never seen any.
I haven't seen.
Have you ever seen?
I feel like I haven't seen celebrities' houses since Cribs. Like I just like I don't look for. I don't look for.
That shit is fake.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. It's all entertainment. I don't really think much of it.
There's a ton
except for
of
Redmond's. I don't know if you've ever seen Redmond's.
Nah, that was real.
That was real.
That was real. That's
That was hilarious.
Redmond's was real.
He's like, oh, they want to give me a crib just to show. No, fuck that. I'm gonna show them the real crib. It's like, yeah, you see this doorknob? This shit don't work.
I think y'all like the fucking doorbell or some shit like that.
It was
With like the
hanging on.
wires and shit like that.
You had the fucking cereal box full of money on top of the fridge. I'm like, oh,
Nah, that's different. Yo, so you know, you kind of told us a little bit how you got started with the street photography thing. What was like the first camera you had access to use and to experiment?
So,
or did you buy a camera to like start?
So my ex, my first relationship, she bought me this Canon T3i. So that was like a big deal because I've never had a camera at that moment. My father has had cameras. He's always like taking family photos and stuff like that. But it was like once I got the T3i. One second, this was very early on. This might have been like 2010.
T3i. I'm sorry. Oh,
it's like Canon
we did a lot of
T3i.
work on the T2.
You had a T2.
Oh,
yeah.
T3.
Yeah. So
Oh no,
like,
T3.
You had a T2, then I had a T4.
they're good, they're good like starter
Yeah,
cameras,
for
I think.
sure, yeah.
So it's
Great
like,
starter cameras.
but like when I started, like I might have gotten that camera. Maybe I could say like 2010 or something around that, maybe 2008 or something. But I don't know what I was doing. Like I didn't have any confidence to pursue anything. So I got the camera and I was excited. And the reason I got the camera is when I went to visit my sister in Colorado, her husband had this camera and I was just like, wow, this is fire, blah, blah, blah.
Colorado too,
yeah,
huh?
in Colorado,
Scenic
man.
as
So I was
fuck.
like, and it's like beautiful out there. So it's
Oh my
like,
God.
so then she like got it for me for Christmas. And then I was excited and I would bring it with me like, I would go out with family. I would bring it with me. But back then, I wasn't doing shit. Like, I wasn't going out. Like, my life was a complete 180 from where it is now. So it was like, I would bring to some places, and then it was like kind of cumbersome. Like, it was this big ass fucking camera with me. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm not taking it. I'm like at Foxwoods with a fucking camera. But I don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I had, and then like I think after like a year, like I didn't use that camera forever until I started doing photography again, like in 2017, 16. That's when I started like picking it up again and stuff.
You said that your life has done a complete 180 from where you were before. I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel like, you know, do you feel like you've become a different person since you picked up the camera? Like you have a whole new identity type of thing? Because you are technically like you can. I don't know what you were doing as far as professional prior to or what your career was prior to, but like now. I feel like your identity is this amazing photographer. Like, you know, so how did you feel like you got here? Like, cause it's only been a few short years.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's through being consistent. I am pretty prideful in my work. And I think I have to like my work before anybody likes my work. So like you guys might see something that I release and I might have been working on that for months, just trying to like get better at something. So it's like, and I don't always post like that behind the scenes things because to me, I don't really I'm trying to be a little bit more like nowadays with post behind the scenes to just get like a little bit more recognition. You know what I mean? But it's like, I never wanted to inconvenience like my work. Like to me, the work is the most important thing. So like, it was like, I think being consistent enough, 2020 was like a really big year for me, but 2019 was like when I changed like the trajectory of my street photography, I think so. Because I like looked at the beginning of 2019, I looked at all my work from the previous year. And at this moment, I've been doing it for like a year and I still don't know what the fuck I was doing. And then I just remember looking at it, I was like, man, I don't feel like much has changed. Like I feel like I'm still kind of doing the same work, and I kept feeling like I didn't have enough time in the day to like actually make this shit work. And then, but I realized it was all an excuse. Like if I wanted different results, I have to do different shit, you know, different things. So it was like I started. One of the biggest things in 2019 was like waking up early. Like I started waking up really early. I would wake up at 6 o'clock, and I would never wake up early like that. But I would wake up at 6 o'clock to go to downtown to shoot. So I would wake up just so if I can brush my teeth, go to the city. I would be out there for like an hour or two, and then I would go home, get like shower, then go to work like at 11 o'clock, and then I would just like edit on break. I'll edit when I get home at night, and then I kind of just do this cycle to kind of get better. And it wasn't until like I started seeing better work, because a lot of times I go out there and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like it's like, because you feel like a poser. Like at least to me, when I started doing photography, I felt like I'm pretending to be a photographer. So it was like I'm out there, I'm just like I look like a fucking detective. Like what am I doing with this big? You know, I don't have like a small camera. I have this big ass fucking camera, and it's just like some guy said to me, he's like, bro, I thought you were like a paparazzi. It was like some random dude told me one time. But then like, I was like, it's not until like you get a photo that you like, and when you get it, you're like, oh shit. I was like, well, this is kind of working. Like, you know what I mean? So then like from that, it was like kind of picking up the pace and just starting taking myself a little more serious. There wasn't that many people doing it out here. So it was like hard to like reach out to somebody and be like, yo, is this working? Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't really know how that works. So it was like, but I have like a very high standard that I set for myself. So like it's like, Yeah, like at least in my eyes. So it's like whether people see it or not. Like if I think something's like good enough or something like that, to me, I have to set the bar. And then like once I set a certain bar, like I don't allow myself to kind of keep going underneath that. I think so. It's like trying to stay on top of it, I guess.
You know, you just to dive a little deeper, especially for people who are just starting off, whether they're 40, 13, 21, 18, whatever. You said that you started waking up earlier to get these shots and do different things. I wanted to ask, like, is there like a certain morning routine that you were going through besides just waking up early? Like, was that like the key difference? Was it just the key difference was just effort? Like,
I think it's effort, and I think it's your mentality of what you're aiming for. If you have more of a goal of what you're aiming for, then it's kind of more of just understanding what you're kind of looking for a little bit. Even though I didn't have like a particular photo that I was looking for, but you know, it's just like keeping myself open to just kind of going out there and just like trying different things. Yeah. Like before, when I first started, I used to like always have different lenses on me. So I would have like, I mean, I only had like two or three lenses tops, but like I would have different lenses on me in case I would see something that I felt like I could switch lens. But then like when I started going out in the morning, I was like, this is too much. Like I was like, stick with one lens, do the best way you have with this one lens. Like street photographers have this thing where it's like, oh, I'm missing a shot because like everything's in the moment. So it's not like it's not like I could tell somebody to do this shit again. So it's like. That's like a big thing with street photographers that they like obsessed with like missing a shot. I've learned to like back in 2020-ish, like I learned to let that go entirely. Like I don't care. There's no missing shots. Like if I miss a shot, I'm fine with that reality. There's a better shot down the line. You know what I mean?
That's a good way to look at it.
So it's like, and I've also, I think when you're more mindful with like, more in tune with like your everyday with like life, like I just view it differently. And I could end up getting better shots like because of it. Like I always think about this one shot. One time I was on Chalkstone. And are you familiar with Chalkstone at all? Yeah. Or like this was like Atwell's actually. This was an Atwell side. So it's like there's like this intersection that's like an Academy Avenue and Atwell's. And I remember like I was like at a red light and then the light turned green. And when the light turned green, I looked to my left and like there was like a house and there was like a mariachi band. They were all outside just like waiting for somebody to open the door. They're all just like holding their instruments. And I was like, holy shit. And I had my camera on me and I go like this. But then like my brain instantly was like, bro, you don't have enough time. Just enjoy the moment. Yeah. And I just like watched it and I was just like, man, that's fire. And I just kind of kept going.
You know what I mean? Like, hold that pose.
It would have been a fire shot, but it's like to me, like the fact that it's just like learning to let go of things like that. Like it's cool to let that go. Like it's like life. You're gonna get more down the line if you're working at it. Your life will present you more stuff, more rewards. I guess if you're like out there, you know.
I like that.
Has anybody ever been like you've taken like a picture of somebody on the street and they've been like, "Don't take pictures of me."
100%.
Or like, delete it right now.
I mean, it all depends. I had that recently. I was doing a job for this company called the District Park. So like they work at out of the CIC building in downtown. Yeah. So like it's the people that own the park that's across the street from me. Okay. So I worked with them all last year and stuff. It's super cool opportunity. And but like one time they wanted me to do some photos of like the people from the park. You later?
No.
They wanted to do some photos from like people from the park.
Yeah.
Yo. That shit.
I don't know if you could have thrown it better, but yeah.
I definitely could have thrown it better. I couldn't have thrown it better. That was great.
Up, baby?
That was great. Oh, thank you so much, bro.
Why you gotta ruin my boy's story like that, dude?
Sorry. All right. So like you were saying, bro, I'm sorry.
No worries. So they asked me to take some photos of the park for like their website. So I went to take some photos of the park. They wanted me to take photos of some people, like, so I take some photos and there was this like one girl that was like on the phone and like I wasn't gonna take a photo. She seemed like she really wasn't gonna be in the mood for it, but I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna try this. Like, and I kind of took a photo from afar, and then I asked her, which I think was where I was wrong, because it's like I took a photo, and then I asked her for a photo, and she's just like, I'm all set, and please delete that photo you took of me. I was like, you right. But it's like I'm not entitled to anything. Like it was my fault. I was already fishy about it. Sometimes you take the risk. The worst that could happen is somebody says something like to you, and then you gotta keep it moving. So it's like. And besides that, like I'm pretty secretive. There's some photographers that are in your face. They don't give a fuck. Like especially like when you live in New York, where it's like more common out there or something like that. So it's like I'm a little more cautious. I've had a few people say something, but it's like it's very infrequent. It almost like never happens. Like I think for the most part.
Most of my favorite photos from you are when like you literally catch a perfect silhouette or something of somebody walking by.
The work you do with shadows is crazy.
Thank you, man. That was always a big goal for me. Bro, it took a long time to get there, but
what's the inspiration behind those photos, man? Because like having For one, two-part question. One, did you ask those people afterwards? Are you getting the perfect shot?
No, I don't ask. I don't ask most people.
Okay, okay, and then more importantly, what was the inspiration? Because like I think some of those photos you got are so incredible.
Thank you, man.
It's not even funny.
So it's like when it comes to street photography photos, it's just, I mean, I've always just liked shadow images like that. There's this photographer from London called, his name is Sean Tucker. He's a YouTuber. But he does like, to me, he does like really incredible YouTube work. He does like this like documentary type of style like YouTuber. And he's like kind of like very inspirational. But his work, I don't get it anywhere else. There's a lot of YouTubers that they have content that you could enjoy, but you can get it anywhere else. To me, his work, I can't get anywhere else other than his space. And he's always done a lot of like shadow photography. So when I started like even going on YouTube to get help, I would see his work and I was always inspired by it. And I just never knew how to get to that point. And it like took me a few years to understand, how he even got that work. I think if I would have like put more effort into it, I would have been able to get a little bit earlier, but I was just kind of going with the motions and stuff. And it's like, things come to you when they do. And it's most of the time when it comes with a lot of the shadow stuff, it's like if you just see like a bright area, it's just like somebody being in the shadow with like a good enough length, like distance from that actual like bright wall, and then just like to capture them in the moment and stuff like that.
Crazy. Just like the way it comes through buildings sometimes and just leaves like this image.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be able to see that image and have the eye for it.
Absolutely. One of my favorite photos that I took in the last few years, there's this photo that I have of like somebody near the State House. So it looks like this kid kind of like, you just see a silhouette and the State House is behind him and it's like in a bus. And it's like, I love that image. I actually have it right now in Brown University. They have like this, they bought it from you.
No way.
Usually when people
bought it from you?
Yeah. Usually when people like post your photos, like they're just holding it for the gallery and then they kind of let it go. Yeah. But they reached out to me saying that they wanted to purchase a photo for this kind of just like event for like, like black artists and stuff like that, Hispanics and stuff like that. And that was like really like, I was really, really happy about that. But it's like that image I took during a Sweet 15. Like I was literally like, I was shooting a Sweet 15, my friend Giovanna's her son's Sweet 15. And then like we were just at the bus and I just remember as we were getting to that place in downtown, that spot in downtown where everybody does like parties across the street from the mall. That is, like, you know what I'm talking about. It's a hall. Yeah. And then like we were just like pulling up, and as we're pulling up, her son is just like by himself. I don't know if I'm not sure if you've been to a lot of C15s, but usually like a kid that's by himself because he's like younger than everybody else and stuff like that. So like he's like by himself, and then like the sun was hitting a certain way, and then as soon as he got up to like look to see if we were getting there, I was like, oh my god! And I had like my Fuji with me, so I just like took like a quick like thing. That ended up being one of my favorite photos I've ever taken,
real?
like ever. Yeah, and it's just like. That's why it's like, I think street photography is more like of a mentality. So it's like if I had that mentality with me at all times, I could get a photo like that anywhere in a sense. Yeah, it's just a matter of just like being like vigilant, being present wherever you are and stuff.
You can never really, probably don't get any second off in your brain because everything you're doing is like, oh my god, that'd be such a great photo.
Yeah, I think so, and it all depends what you. I'm also letting go of certain things. Like I went to Jamaica. I went to Jamaica last year to a resort, and like but to me, I was like letting go of photography. Like I was like, I don't want to be thinking. I remember one time, I was like on this like chair on the beach, and there was like this like lady like sitting. I didn't have my camera with me because I didn't shoot like all the entire time except for like the last day. I had like disposable film camera. I was like, I'll shoot the last day with my disposable film camera. But I remember watching this lady. She was sitting somewhere. And I was like, man, I was like, wow, that looks beautiful. I was like, that looks like from the old times. That looks like a great photo. And then like some guy came out of nowhere and he started talking to her. But what he added so much to the photo. I was like, oh, that's fire. I was like, holy shit. And then like, I didn't know that there was somebody behind the lady. So she like gets up and then there's like her friend that's behind the lady. And when I saw like all three of them, I was like, this is fucking insane. But I'm just like, I was super high at the moment. So I'm just watching. I'm just enjoying the moment. I'm just like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like,
and you got it in your head. I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what, it's just like that inspires me alone within itself. You know what I mean? So it's like allowing to let life inspire you. I think is like really big to me.
That's pretty incredible, man. Because I do take these trips and that kind of thing. And Murph always encourages me to take a camera. I mean, I'm not taking no pictures, but just in general,
you guys are out here. So you guys have you guys are out here, bro. Like it's not like you're like going to like fucking downtown and Cranston and fucking Worcester, you know what I mean?
Josh be traveling.
No, I'm just traveling. No, so it's like you guys can take advantage for the podcast,
work.
for the YouTube. Yeah. You guys live a life.
We like, definitely could have more.
Carauland.
I know
Carauland. I haven't been to Carauland in a long time.
You're 10 miles deep into Carauland when you come on this side. He definitely encourages me to do more content, but I'm definitely I'm going to take more of an initiative. And what you're saying, like, I really appreciate it because, like, a lot of times, like I do go out there and I do, I go to certain places. I'm like, yo, I don't. Although it's never been my thing anyway to like pull out a camera, because I've always been like, even back in the day, like if I ever pull out a camera, it was like so I can try and interview somebody or do something along those lines. Super early on for me, but I do enjoy like going to places and just enjoying the moment. Just like, damn, this is fire. Now I do say to myself, I wish one of the guys were here. So they can film something, or they can maybe enjoy this with me. But like,
I agree. I agree. I agree with enjoying the moment too.
Yeah.
Like with being big on just being present. It's just like I don't really want to document this and stuff like that. I just kind of want to be here. You know what I mean?
But then you're also like, I wish Ruben was right there with the gimbal.
If you have somebody, like if you have a friend, you know what I mean? I 100% agree with that. 100%.
I just know with Ruben and Sway and certain guys, I just know sometimes that they're like, I'm not going anywhere without my camera anyway, and what their lens and what they're seeing. Is they will go the other way with that type of motivation, like seeing something so beautiful or whatever the case is. Like, there's no way I'm gonna miss the opportunity of catching this anyway. So like, just having.
I think it's finding a balance. I think at the end of the day, like it's finding a balance, and because you also don't want to. You don't want to feel like you have to document everything, you know what I mean? And I'm really big right now, especially right now. Like I haven't been doing too much this year, except for like myself. But I've said no to a lot of things this year. I've said no to a few galleries. I've said no to like small things because I'm just like I'm trying to step away from certain things to kind of just like understand where it is that I want to go. But I think like it's good to like when you're in the moment, like it's good to just be away from like anything sometimes and just be in the moment. Like it's especially like when you're. That always reminds me. One time I went to see Kendrick in Philadelphia. And I remember being there. This is when I first stopped recording people at concerts. You know when people go to concerts, they record with their phones the entire time. I don't agree with it, but I understand it because I've been there before myself. But I remember being there at this moment. I've been to like already a ton of concerts in my life. And I remember I was having such a good time. I was by myself at this show. And I'm recording. And I remember I was looking at the video. I was like, when am I going to watch this? I was just like, I am here at this fucking moment in Philadelphia at this kind of show that I was dying to get. That I just bought tickets the night before. I was like, yo, fuck all this. And then I just I put the phone away and I like didn't record anything else. But like I was just there with people I never met before, people I never saw again. I had a chance to meet them afterwards. They had like this like little documentary that like his people were doing. So they ended up finding me outside. They asked me like a question, and then like I had the To Pimp a Butterfly vinyl that I bought at the time, and then like I was able to meet him after so he could sign it and stuff. So it's
that's amazing.
Yeah, I was like super amped. But like when you're just like in the moment, like it's dope to just like be present and not
let it happen.
it's just like finding a balance, man. Because it's also I fucking love documenting shit too. You know what I'm saying?
He's like, yo, there's a million cameras around. You could probably find this on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yo, you've been doing this for a while now. Although it's only been a few short years. How does somebody come about going for an opportunity like having their artwork displayed in different places? And specifically, I'm asking about the airport, our main airport in Providence, because that's pretty Warwick, Providence, whoever's watching.
I understand. They get it
because I think that's fucking. I think that's incredible. Like they had your shit displayed out, and like I think that's fire as fuck. So like, how does one go about an opportunity like that?
So that wasn't like I wasn't like searching for that opportunity. So I think when you're like an artist, it's just a matter of taking advantage of the opportunities that are available. So it's like if you're working as an artist, then it's like my goal wasn't to just get my photos in at the airport, but I was working, I'm active, something happened, an opportunity came about. Jabron actually sent it to me. He was like, yo, they're looking for artists for the airport. If you want to submit some work, I submitted some work. And it was like, and then they ended up accepting me, and it was like, it was dope, man. It was, they pay you a very small amount because it's more about, I guess, like the opportunity. So it's like very small amount. Yeah, it's a very small amount they pay you, but it's like, it's cool to have your stuff there. It's just like the video with you guys.
Oh,
the last video.
Come on, dog. Sorry. He always sits right underneath it.
It's not that much smoke. Damn it.
I agree though. I do agree. It wasn't that much smoke. For these like high ass ceilings too. Oh, there's one right there. That's what it is.
Right
you're right about.
Okay,
yeah.
It's a bad scene. My fault. I didn't mean to.
No, you good, bro.
But yeah, let's do it. I'm sorry, bro.
So, yeah, but like he sent it to me. I ended up winning the contest. It was like 3 winners or 4 winners, I think. And I was the only photographer that won the contest. So it was like pretty cool. That was like very dope, I think. And everybody else was like very different work. It was like somebody did art. Someone did like, I don't know if it was like rugs or something. Like there was just like all completely different work. I completely 180 for my stuff, but it was cool to get that opportunity too. It was like a week. I had like submissions for like 2 exhibits, and like I got denied for the last one. But then like a week after, I got accepted for that one. So I was like pretty cool. But it was like that opportunity. Like I said, I think it's just putting yourself out there. Just being, if you're working and you're putting yourself out there, that's literally all you have control of. And it's just like, and then you're networking. So it's like, I networked through these people. Like, luckily, my friend Jabron, ended up hitting me up about it. So because of that, and then like now, like the main guy that does that, like I'm really cool with him. So I've been working with him because I'm not sure if you're familiar with Riska. They do they work with like all artists, like organizations. Stuff. They're like a big organization out here, but like. Not because of that, like I've worked with them at that on that level that like they reached out to me last year to be a judge for like this year's like airport stuff. So that was dope. Yeah. So like the ones that have it up this year because they just put it up this year. Shout out to my boy Izzy Baghead. He's like
Baghead was in there. That's so fire.
So it's like it was cool to be able to kind of just be there, to be a voice from Providence. You know what I mean? So it was like me and like 2 or 3 other judges, and we were just like there. They sent us all these like different images, and we had to judge the images and the artists, stuff like that, but like number them. So it's like it was good to be able to help out like locals, but it's like I also feel like these people are capable of. I'm not just doing people a favor. You know what I mean? Yeah. There was a few other artists that I wish would have been able to work out, but it's all in due time. I think if you're staying consistent in your work and just networking, that's going to be able to get out there a lot more.
That's the only thing that matters right there.
I think so, personally. Yeah. The biggest thing that I've done, to me, the biggest thing as a street photographer that I've done is like I have a gallery right now in downtown. It's called 100 Westminster Street. It's like right next to the Superman building.
Oh, let's go. Talk about it.
That's the biggest thing I've ever done as a street photographer by far. Like, by how much they paid me, by like the exposure, all that stuff. Because like the only thing that I didn't like about the airport thing was that I didn't get a chance to celebrate it with people because it's the airport. So it's not like, we're gonna have a release or like, you know what I mean? Like it was like
everybody. Let's all think about the airport.
Bro, and it feels like so big. Like I'm like, fuck, I'm at the fucking TF Green Airport. Yeah. But it's just like I remember when we put it up, it was like, this is done. And I was just like, damn. Just like that. It was like
the moments
this is cool. I had like 17 pieces there. Like I had a ton of pieces.
Is it like when you arrive and you're walking down the tunnel?
So it's like in the arrival section. So it's like in one of those tunnels. It's like one of those things. So like I had like an entire like floor.
Because I'm looking at all that shit, to be honest. When I land in the city, all of a sudden on the wall, I'm always just like, oh shit.
Yeah, I do too.
This is where they invented shoelaces.
I know
most people.
But I know most people don't. So it's like I understand that too. But I just wish it would have been like a little celebration, like but it's like you have to pay for parking to go to even see it. So it's just like you're paying like $7 just to see my work, so it's like most people aren't really gonna do that, which I understand that. So it's like I did get like random people from like other countries hitting me up like, oh, I saw your work at the airport, and
that's amazing,
that, which was really cool. So it's like, but like that with like the downtown stuff was like big because it's like working with I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of the Avenue concept.
No,
So all the murals in the city are like pretty much the majority of the murals in the city are created like are curated by them. So like they'll bring an artist from like another place, from like either locally or from another spot, and just like they'll do it at these massive ass buildings and stuff like that. So it's like
that's amazing.
I've been a big fan of them for years. I've always wanted to work with them as an artist. And then it was they reached out to me because I've always taken a lot of like unique photos of the murals. So they reached out, their main photographer reached out to me one time to just like, oh, hey, we need an extra photographer to take photos of this new mural in somewhere in Bristol or something like that. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. And it was just like, we talked about pricing and stuff. And then like, so it was cool to get my foot in the door. I was still working with them as a freelancer though. So I always wanted to work with them as as an artist, but I think everything in life is in due time. So I'm like, what? I'm not stressing it. Like, eventually it'll happen.
Yo, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, at least that's the way that I feel. And if it doesn't have this, like, this isn't my end all, be all. You know what I mean? So it's like, if it happens, it doesn't. It's cool, but it's like I want it to happen. But luckily it happened. They ended up reaching out to me early last year. They was like, we have this really big opportunity in this place, and we thought you'd be perfect for it. They was like, they were looking for like an artist, but like they liked the people that worked there liked my work so much that they like pitched them my work without telling me. Like they made like an entire like presentation without telling me. Damn. They pitched my work, and the company was like, it's a realtor company from our here. They were like, oh yeah, we love this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun.
And then it was like, I remember where I was driving, and when I pulled over she was like, it's a big opportunity, call me when you can. And when I called her, I was like, oh shit, this is what I've been fucking waiting for. I thought to myself, and then it was the most I've ever gotten paid for street photography by a long shot. Like it was, and it's like, and it's last, and then on top of that, usually when you do a gallery, you pay, it's like your images, you bring to them the frames, but like they paid for everything. Yeah. So like they paid for all the printing, and like there's a company out here that I've been wanting to work with for years, but I never did because their printing is so expensive. Like it's really expensive. It makes sense, of course. To me, it's like something to accomplish down the line. Aspire to, absolutely. Yeah. So then, luckily for me, when the Avenue Council was telling me about it, they're like, yeah, we're gonna print it out through these people, and I was just like, no fucking way. I've been dying to work with these people,
and you don't gotta pay for it.
Bro, I don't pay for shit. So it's just like I think it's called EO Labs or something. I think they're called EO Labs or something like that. I think it's near Pawtucket or something. But man, it worked out. They printed everything. I had to go and approve it to like go to the place. It's like they were like like 3 by 4 feet, so they were like really big pieces. So it's like they did 8 pieces in total. One of them was custom. One of them was for their hotel that they have like right in the corner. It's called the Beatrice Hotel in downtown. So like it was like working with them because they owned them. So it was like it was cool. So one of them was photos I had to create for them for the hotel. That was like a bigger piece, like a 5 by 4 piece. But the other ones were like my pieces. And to walk into that place and just see this big ass sign that has my name on it and a huge long bio of mine and all my photos, I'm like, this feels wild to me. Like,
crazy,
I remember when I walked up there the day that they were installing everything, and it's just like these three people, they're just all working for like my work in a sense. So it's just like they're all like taking the previous artists down. And the previous artist was like this world-renowned fucking artist that made like his pieces from like different materials from around the world. Like it was like a big,
That's crazy,
you know what I mean? So it was like it felt a little surreal. Like, I can't lie.
It must have been validating. You're like, damn.
It felt great. It really did. Like it doesn't. I try to be confident enough in my work that it's just like whether people see it or not, I feel how I feel about my work. Yeah. But there is like a dope thing to be validated from somebody that you like really like, or like a company or something like that. So it's just people that I respect a lot. I love what they're doing. So to be a part of that in that sense is really, I was very grateful for it. Very grateful.
That's something the family probably respects too, because like you can be like, oh, Ma, I shot this guy, or, you know, I shot a little Dirk or something, and then she's like,
"Yeah,
cool, and
little Dirk,"
and you're like, look at my shit.
Yeah. So it's like,
Who's that?
100%. So and then for them to see it, because I had like my family go and stuff like
so
that.
far,
So it was dope, and it was definitely one of my favorite moments I've had so far, I think.
All right, so well, you said the gallery's the biggest thing you've done so far. Sea of Green was also another milestone for you. Where do you think? Where's like another cool spot, or a cool spot that has your? Give me some other cool spots that have your artwork. That's what I want to.
I mean, I've worked with the Waterfire a lot.
That you're proud of. Yeah.
The Waterfire Art Center was just like, I love the water. Like at least like I've worked with them a lot of times, so it's been cool to be able to kind of get in there. Because before I started doing photography, I was so far away from like that life. Like I was so far away from these artists because I wasn't one of them. So it's like, see, I'm like, damn, like that feels like I'm so behind, you know? So to get these opportunities at a time, I've done a few galleries with them. I would really like to do a solo gallery with them. That's like the main thing that I want to do. I haven't really done a solo exhibition just yet. I had a meeting with them last year about it, but I think everything's in due time. Like we'll kind of just see how it goes. But it's but I work with them a lot of times. Right now I don't have my photos in too many places because right now I have work at the CIC building, which is really cool actually. Yeah, the CIC building, they I had a friend of mine who's like a supporter of my work, and she like told me about like that they're like looking for artists and stuff like that. So when I reached out to them, they was like, yeah, we'd love to have your stuff here. Like, and then like it's cool because they have like 4 of my pieces up there, and then like they give me access to that building. So I have access to that building 24/7. Like until it's usually $300 something a month for that membership. Yeah. So I have access to that building 24/7, literally 24/7. Like I could go to that building at 4 a.m, 1 a.m, like whenever I want to. It's just you scan with your card. Yeah. And it's like because they have my work there, so it's like cool to be able to kind of just like work with bigger companies like that.
The doors that it opens is
absolutely. And I think even with smaller places too. Like I've had my work at the Mount Pleasant Library, and I'm from that Mount Pleasant area, so it's like they had like they be having like random galleries for artists. So like I was one of them in November, I think, and it was dope because I had 5 pieces and I sold 4 of the pieces in the end. So like, and then on top of that, like I ended up donating. I had this really big piece that I had at the Tees restaurant. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Tees restaurant.
Of course.
Yeah. So I had the Tees. Yeah.
Nice.
So like I had this really big piece at the Tees restaurant. Like the city with like the sunflowers and stuff. I ended up donating it to the Mount Pleasant Library. Wow. So it's like a really big piece. It's like a really so like if you walk in the library, they have it hung up, and it's just like a piece that I ended up giving it to them. So it's like it's cool to work with like something smaller on a local level and stuff.
So philanthropist. We have to add that to the. We have to add that to the list of titles.
All the new time.
Hey, you're checking a lot of boxes, man. As a photographer that takes pride in their city, like you're getting your work displayed in your city. So like, what more can you really ask for? Like a billboard at this point.
Absolutely, man. I'm very grateful for the opportunities, and I always feel, to me, this is all the early days. So it's like that's the way that I view my life.
Real.
So it's just like, oh, it's even regardless of my age, like this is my early days, because in 10 years I'd be like, well, I remember 10 years ago when I thought I knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? I know that I don't know what I'm doing in a sense. You know what I mean? You know better, you get better, and you tweak it, and you get better every year. Absolutely. But you never fully know like exactly what you're doing. But it's like it's all part of it. You'll get a little bit better with time, and I feel a little bit more focused this year. I'm just trying to see where is it that I want to go this year. So,
damn. Damn, you've been getting, you've been around different circles. You've been going around, higher places and different, now you're next thing you know, your work is gonna be at the State House. You know what I'm saying? All that good stuff.
I have like 3 pieces at the State House. Somebody that.
Come on, bro. Dream bigger, Josh. Dream bigger, dude.
I don't know if I think it's so. I'm not sure, but like one of the first people that bought anything from me, she worked at the State House and she bought 3 really big pieces.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, this is gonna be at the State House," and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like this was like 5 years ago. It was like my early days.
Oh,
well,
no, what I'm saying is dope.
Me.
It's dope because she, her name is Nicole. Shout out to Nicole. But she like reached out to me last year because she wanted to get a piece for her and her husband. That they just moved into a new place and they wanted me to take a photo near the Hot Club. I guess like this is where they met. Mm-hmm. So I had to like go in. Actually, I asked the Hot Club if I could go in their back to take this photo, and then like we blew it up. It was like 60 inches. Like it was a huge piece to cover like this thing in her house. And I was like, it's dope that she reached out to me from like those early days.
Yeah.
Because she's just like been a supporter ever since.
That's mad romantic getting the photo of the spot you guys
that
met.
Is real
fire, bro. Like it was with the city and stuff like that. She was saying that her and her husband used to like, I don't know if they met or they used to be there like all the time in the summer. And she was like, I'm not sure if you could take this photo. It was like summer. It was like wintertime. So it was like a little bit hard to take this photo. But like I went and I did the best that I can. They loved it. And to see it like printed out, like to see a piece of yours like that printed out, bro, I think it's crazy.
Did you see where it was? Like, did she send you a picture?
She sent me a photo where it was. Yeah, so it's like it's just in their living room, and it's just like the big piece in the living room, and it's like I had that happen one other time when somebody bought a piece to cover an entire wall, and I remember just like when I got it, I was like, this is fucking insane. Like this is like earlier days, but I was like, especially that piece and like that piece back then. That was the first time I ever took a photo that I thought, oh, this is excellent. Like I don't ever take photos like that and think like this is great. But that was the first time in my early days that I was like, oh, this is really fucking good. And then like so somebody to see it and be like, oh, I want this to cover a wall in my house. That's crazy. And to buy it and like to get it and it looks just as good as it does printed. And I was just like, it was nuts.
That'd be tough if it gets printed, it's all mad pixelated when you walk up to it.
Yeah, so it's like there's this like company called canvaspop.com. Okay. They do incredible work when it comes
for a whole wall.
For like, I mean, that was like 50. It was like a small wall, but it was like 50, almost 60 inches. Damn. So it was like, but it's literally, bro. And I think the photo, huh?
What is it called?
The company?
Canvaspop?
Canvaspop.com. Yeah. So if you ever need to buy any canvases, I literally can't recommend them enough. When I did that photo, I think it was like 50 megabytes.
Damn.
And it's like almost 60 inches. And it's like, it looked I was blown away by it. And at that time, I haven't printed too many things out at that time. So I was like nervous about it. But it was like, I still shop with them to this day whenever I get canvases.
Hey, use code RafeaksPVD when you check out for 0% off.
It might not work. Yeah.
Give them a good plug and everything. We're going to actually send that to them and try to get you a deal.
They're going to be like, disable his account. I don't really want that.
Nah, we're going to sell this shit. We're going to clip this shit and sell it to them.
That's fire, though.
You know what I'm saying?
It's dope, man.
I just look at these walls. I'm like, damn, you can blow up a whole ass photo on this.
Yeah, you could blow up. But, bro, they do incredible work. Work.
I'm like... I didn't even damn.
Yeah, man. Hey, if you guys ever need help with anything with like printing stuff or anybody out there, like just hit me up.
It's valuable.
I always because you never know when you start. I don't know what the fuck I was doing when I started. Like, I didn't know any other photographers that did that kind of stuff. So I was just fucking winging everything. I remember the first Providence flea that I did, the first big market that I did. Like my photos, I didn't know that you had to tape the photos to like the frames. Because if not, they might fall off. Like after being up for, and I didn't know that until I had the photos in my house for like a few weeks, and I was like, oh, these are falling off. I was just like, oh, and then the photos that I sold, it's trial and error. You learn as you go, man. I don't stress myself. I'm learning. That was my that first big flea was a big deal for me. So it was like. So like you learn as you go. Like I don't make that mistake anymore. And when I see other photographers make that mistake because I've seen it before, I'll just let them know. I'd be like, you should consider. Like I never say like you have to do this. Yeah. Or just consider doing this.
Just tell them that story. Be like, this shit dropped in my house.
This shit dropped in my house. So
and you're like, damn.
That's what and it's dropped. Like I've had like another photographer's photos like in a frame, and then like I was like, oh, this just dropped off. And I was just like, but I've been there before, so I understand that. That's why I always tell people I could help you prevent some mistakes because there wasn't that many people when I started doing this. So it's just like at least you have somebody with experience. Just reach out. I'll let you know.
That's a good piece of content too. Take that little example that you just had and just make a quick video on why people should do it, or like, hey, this happened to me. Maybe even reenact it. And then be like,
I plan on like because I feel like selling small prints. Like there's like cheap ways of doing it. So it's like I think I could at least like make a quick video of like showing people how I mount them on like a mat or something like that. It's like a very quick thing, but I think that could be very beneficial because I've helped out so many other photographers.
You know how many people would love to see that?
Yeah. I've helped out a lot of other photographers, and I've because it's just we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just figuring shit out.
You don't know until you know. Like you didn't know that'd be a problem until you encountered it. And you're like, oh shit, I gotta figure this out.
Until you do it, but once that's the whole point. Though you have to be doing something. Like if you're doing it, then you'll see the mistakes that you made. You know what I mean? But if you're not doing it, you're just gonna be like, oh, but this could go wrong, and it's just like, but something's gonna go wrong no matter what you think is gonna happen.
Matter what you
something's gonna go wrong 100%. So it's like
you just gotta learn through it.
You know, as all these things have been happening, the few I don't want to call, obviously I can't call you a vet. Yeah, you know it's been a few short years, but you've accomplished so many things. What do you feel like is like one of the biggest compliments you've ever received?
Biggest compliments?
What one of the biggest compliments you've ever received, like as a photographer?
I've received a lot of really really nice compliments.
What was like something that was
there's one that I always remember. So his name is, you guys know who Anthony Tomaselli is?
Sounds very familiar.
So he's the owner of Tees.
Oh, okay.
All the art that's in Tees is his work. He's all the artists.
Nice.
So he's a big artist. I've been watching his paintings. I've been seeing his paintings. I was a kid because Tees was like my only like family restaurant. We used to go there all the time. So like when I was a kid, I used to always like see all the work at Tees and stuff like that. And so he's like, I've always admired his work. And like the first time like he reached out to me, that was like kind of wild to me. Like it was like, because it's like I've been following this guy for so many years, even before I did any art at all. And then one time he like randomly hit me up through Instagram and he was like, hey, he's like, big fan of your work. He's like, you should come to the studio one day. And I was like, I remember I was like, oh shit. Like, I was like, looking at DM, I was like, okay. I was like, all right. I was like, it's pretty cool. And then,
awesome.
And then when I went to, this was after 2020. So it might've been like maybe 2021 or something. But this was like, like the whole COVID era, or maybe 2020 summer. But I just remember he has a studio in downtown, like a really big, because he's like one of the biggest artists that the Providence Art Club has. And one time I went, and then I had my mask on because we had to wear masks at the time. So like I'm talking to him, I'm just like, he's like, oh, if you guys need help or anything, just let me know. I was like, there was Marlise, and then like he's like, if you guys need help or anything, let me know. And like I'm just like walking around, I'm like thinking, I started asking him some questions about his work. And then at this moment, he doesn't know it's me, which I don't think much of it either. So I'm just like, and then I was like, yeah, like he's like telling me about this stuff. He's telling me how much his book costs and stuff like that. He had like 2 books. And then I was just like, oh, just want to let you know. I was like, you actually hit me up through Instagram. I was like, my name's Rafael, this and that. He was like, what? He was like, no way. He was so excited, bro. Like there was like people coming in. People like complimenting his work. He's like, you have to see his photos. He's like, this is good, but you have to see his photos. And then like, bro, he showed us like all his old work. Like he's like, oh, let me bring you to the basement. We went to the basement. He showed us all the work that he used to do when he was a kid. Because he was like, even though if you look all of his work now, it's like very like, scenery, like the ocean and stuff like that. All his old work was all political. I had no idea.
That's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Super strong political work when he was a kid. He was like, I was angry 24/7. So he was like, I was just constantly making work like because of that. And like we went out and we see all these old like paintings from like war and all these different things going on in the city. And I was like, man, this is cool. So like that's how I got the Tees opportunity. Because like he reached out once, like this is other photographer. Shout out to my boy Winslow. His other photographer that like he ended up being cool with him. He invited us to the Providence Art Club. And then we were just he told us that in the end, we were with him for like a few hours. And in the end, he was like, what if I give you guys an opportunity to like put your stuff at Tees? And he's like, I won't charge you anything. And he was like, he didn't charge us anything. He was like, if you guys sell anything, you keep all the money. I don't want to take anything. He was like literally putting his stuff down during the busiest time of the year for him as an artist.
That's great, man.
To like let us hold his work. And then like on top of that, when we went to put it up, like I thought he was gonna help us. Like he was like, yeah, you guys are gonna figure this out. I'm like, damn, your walls. Like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I knew less then. We like closed out Tees. We was in Tees at like 11 o'clock at night. It was just me and Winslow. He was like, yeah, just lock the doors afterwards. And we were in there to like, amazing, yeah, man. And we were.
This guy loves you.
It was crazy, man. He shows us mad love.
Did you cook anything?
Did I what?
Did you cook anything?
I did not. I should have.
Out of your mind.
We were I was way too nervous of like putting up like fucking up walls because I'm just like I'm winging it. So it's not like. Yeah. I don't think it was a good idea but like I'm like winging it. So I'm just like, oh, I think if you measure this, it'll be right here. And then like we don't know what the fuck we're doing, but like we made it work at the end of the day. And it just
I
like
called my cousin Sammy.
Yo,
come check these walls.
To be in there at night, it's kind of crazy. I was like, this place closes like at 4, like to begin with.
Yeah, for real.
So it's just like to be in there like 11 at night to this place because they're like, they're letting us put up our work. It was like pretty amazing, man. So that was like was definitely one of my favorite compliments I've ever had, and from somebody who I hold like high in the art world and stuff like that.
I best believe I definitely would have made myself a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
No kissing.
Would have made a mess.
The food is good, man.
Oh, that Tees?
Yeah, that food is fire,
bro. Man. Question. Is there, so you talked about the gentleman's name is Thomas, right?
Anthony
Tomaselli.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Tomaselli. I need like the name of like 3 photographers that you absolutely admire. Like I'm talking about, I don't care what part of the world they're from or anything, but
like just like people that I
really, I need like 3 people that you've yet to work with.
Old school. Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I could give you some like old school. There's this photographer.
Are they still getting busy though?
Yes. So like, there's this photographer called Alex Webb. I want to take his workshop class. He did a workshop last year in New York, but it was like a few grand. Like it was like up there, which I understand. But he's phenomenal. Like
we talk about that all the time, man. Mentorship, it costs money, but it's worth it.
Costs money, man. And he's
education's the best thing you can spend.
Yeah. And he's phenomenal. His name is Alex Webb. I think his work is phenomenal. Like I mean, it's just like he has this book called The Suffering of Light. That is just like one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. Like I very rarely see a book and I'm like, this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I don't like, I'm not that loose with like just like giving compliments out like that in that sense. Like I'm not just always like, oh my God, this is the best. His is just incredible work. He's like a pioneer in this shit. So he's been in this for like decades and stuff. But he's like to me, he's like one of the greatest, a big inspiration at this moment in my life. There's this concert photographer called Greg Neer, something like that. That I've been admiring him. He toured with Childish Gambino, which would be like a huge go for me. But it's like
artist?
Childish Gambino.
You would want to do Childish Gambino over any artist?
I don't know about over. Wait, he's like one of my biggest inspirations though. Like Childish Gambino. I think from the last like let's say, maybe like not even 2000s. Like let's say the last 10 years of my life.
Okay.
I think like Gambino, Tyler the Creator, and like Kendrick have had the biggest impact on my life, whether artistically or just like any other thing. Like so it's like he toured with him for a while and he just doesn't. He already did incredible work before he toured with him. So it's like. I've been admiring his concert work forever, and just like you guys have given me the space to be able to go to these the Strand and like be able to kind of exercise this like kind of this like you know what I mean like this skill to like be able to kind of just like make my own version of this, you know what I mean? Because it's like it's
and you're killing it, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I'm like trying to figure that shit out. The concert world is it's a pain in the ass.
Okay. But yeah, so back to you name one guy. I need a couple other guys.
So I gave you 2. I gave you Greg. I gave you Alex.
Okay,
There's what's this other photographer from? I'm bad with names, so I'm gonna look at my phone real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
But it's like I'm bad. I'm bad with. I feel like I'm bad with names when it comes.
But I know
to
there's some people who probably jump up at the top of your list, like especially people you probably run into on Instagram all the time. Like we run into like amazing,
what am I talking
incredible
about?
work all the time.
I completely agree. There's this kid named Faisal from Boston. I love Faisal's work, bro. So this kid named Faisal from Boston, he just moved to New York though.
Nice.
But I met him when I went to SantaCon, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty fucking excited. And he's like a young kid. He might be like 26.
Yeah.
But I've been admiring his YouTube for like a long time. He's been like my favorite YouTube photographer for the last like 2 years. I discovered him during COVID times, and I was like, oh, this is really good. I was just like, and then like as time went on, I was like, oh, he just keeps getting better, in my opinion. And then I remember when I saw him, I was at SantaCon. I went out there to shoot it with my boy Winslow. And I just remember from afar, I was like, is that Faisal? I was like, fuck. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to go up to him all nonchalant. Like I got it on video. It was like in my SantaCon video. Nice. And I was just like, oh, hey, what's up, man? Like, just like, oh, big fan, like all nonchalant. But I love Faisal's work. His work has inspired me a lot. And there's this other guy from YouTube called Evan Ramft. Okay. I'm like more... So like I think he's helped me more than any other photographer has ever helped me, and it comes to like the business side of things, I guess. Like he's like I've been following his page for so many years, and like even my book, I feel like I was able to just take his blueprint and just use it on my stuff, and it's like to this day I think he's been the most helpful than any other photographer, and a photographer from Atlanta. So it's like it's cool to see these people like just grow in like their field because they're just regular people like us. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like to see like in their early stages where it's just like. Seeing the things that they're trying to aim for, and then like they actually get to it. It's like it's super inspiring. I think.
You spoke about your book. We have the first edition.
Not
the first edition, but we have the first.
The first book.
That you got that was available to the public. Dear PVD by Rafael Medina.
You
say it so nicely.
You like that?
So eloquently.
You gotta let that R just. Rafael Medina.
Rafael. You have some incredible photos, and then now you have also available to the public. What's it called? The zine?
A zine,
baby.
A zine.
Okay, so what?
Like magazine without MAGA.
Basically, it's like a yep.
Yeah, just zine.
Yeah, it's magazine without MAGA.
Without MAGA? Without MAGA? Well, I don't want to get political.
Whoa there, buddy. Who you voting for? No, I'm just kidding. So you have the zine available to the public. Can you just explain to the people what that is exactly?
Well, like the...
What is the zine? What is it? Like, what is that?
Oh, like the thing itself?
Yeah.
Oh, like, it was like, I guess it's like, I know it started kind of like more of a personal magazine. I think people started making them like themselves, like at their house. So it's like, that's like how it started with just like, people be like, oh, I just created this zine. And it's usually like either be stapled or something people handmade and stuff like that. I think as the years went on, people just started, promoting it as like just like a smaller version of something, or just like so
it's like a mixtape compared to an album.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay,
so like that's literally exactly what it is to me. Like,
analogy.
That's like, I was going to get there, so the fact that you got to it is fucking fire. So to me, this is my mixtape, and like with that,
say less.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk your shit, boy.
You know what I'm saying? Jump it out here. So it's like to me, it's my mixtape in a sense of like, I could be a little more loose with this. Like it's not just like, even though I thought it was gonna be more loose than I initially ended up being, because I'm still kind of like, you know, with like kind of like how I do my shit, like my sequencing and all that stuff. But it's like, you know, I have a lot more photos than I initially had planned on. But it's like, once again, you drop a mixtape with like 20 something songs.
100%.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, to me, I ended up dropping a lot more photos, and it just like, I was a little bit more playful with it, a little bit more images with just like either me being in the photo, just like kind of taking the photo from like reflection. But it's but to me, yeah, it just allowed me to be more loose with like my approach to this. And the reason why I call this my mixtape is because I plan on releasing another Rhode Island book at some point. Either I want to do it this year. I don't know if it's going to make sense this year anymore, because there's one more thing that I want to do before. But I do want to, my next thing is going to be my book. So it's like my Rhode Island book. So to me, like my book is going to be my album, and I want to do that rollout completely different. I want to kind of be a lot more out there with my rollout. I want to market it a little bit differently.
Anything we can help with, just
I appreciate it. And I want to do like possibly, if possible, a hardcover. Like I just want to see where I could take it to the next level, because I don't want to keep doing the same thing. Yeah. But like this zine was like a lot smaller. It's like 6x9. So it's like, and this particular zine is like of the photos that I've taken out of Rhode Island. So it's like, I'm very proud of the work that I've done here. It's been for the last, like, it's like the last year and a half, 2 years. But it's like, I have photos from Boston, from New York, from Coney Island, and from Washington, D.C. Oh, dope. So it's like 96 images in total. So, or 99 images in total, actually.
99, I like that.
So it's...
You didn't want to do one more, huh?
I know, I thought that I like would add anything, like it would just be extra, because I finished here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was already going to cut down to like 70, but then I was like, you know what? This is a zine. I'm going to be a little more playful. It's cheaper to create these than other ones, because it's like a lot smaller and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm really excited. I love, you know, I'm hoping this would be like an ongoing series. Yeah. Because it's like, I never want to stop traveling for photography. Like I just had my biggest like thing where I went to New Orleans recently. And I was there just for street photography. So it was like, it was so much street photography in like 3 days, like 3-4 days. I was like, I mean,
your eyes must have been just, your brain must have been going crazy.
It was like a lot, but it's like, you know, I feel like that's already going to be part of the next one. That's the way that I see it. But it's like, it's all in due time.
That's smart, though. You could be like, fuck, I can fit it in this one.
I thought initially, but it was like, how much work am I going to I'm not going to bombard this with like work. And I also want to roll this out, because I've recorded a lot of GoPro video like out there. So like, I'm planning on March to be my New Orleans month, where I'm just like, on YouTube, I'm going to be releasing my New Orleans stuff. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm going to be releasing some of my New Orleans images and stuff like that. So it's like, so it's like kind of just like learning how to kind of, you know, just build like a little bit of a...
It's funny you say like rollout. I say you're operating like a music artist almost.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's the way that I'm inspired. I'm always inspired by that. Tyler always does very unique rollouts, and Childish Gambino does. I mean, Childish Gambino's rollouts has always been very unique in a sense of like, when his like, after his first project dropped, because like, I don't know if you ever listened to him, but all his albums sound differently. So like, you could like one album and hate all his other albums because they don't sound anything like each other. You know what I mean?
The last one he just came out with, it was just completely left field.
Yeah, and that's how all his work is. That's how all his work is. Yeah. So it's like, but like his rollouts are always, even though I wasn't a huge fan of his rollout for the last album, but like his rollouts like are always dope. Like when he released the album Because the Internet, like he released like a very short film with it, and then he released like a small script with it. So it was like a script, and then after that, so it was like leading up to that, and then like once he released the album, I think if you bought it at this store in New York, if you were like one of the first certain amount of people that bought it, you were getting access to this party that he was having for the album release that he was gonna perform shit at. And so like, and then it's like, so like once you bought it that day, then you go to the, like, it was like a condo, and it was like a ton of people that were there, a ton of fans, and then they're all there, this big ass fucking condo, and like Gambino's there with his people, and they're performing some of it. So it's like the rollouts for like a lot of that shit to me is very inspiring. Like he has like there's this mixtape that he has called Kawaii, that it's like a continuation of the story from like that album beforehand. So it's like there's a mixtape called Kawaii, but like he released like another mixtape like right before that leads into Kauai, and it's like a story that's like connected with that mixtape. So it's like I think his shit is fire. I think like the way they release that shit is so fire and inspiring.
Nah, that's amazing because then you take inspiration from that and then
100%
you throw your own flair on that, and then
100.
Now the way you roll out shit is 1000% different from anything anybody's ever done. Period.
So I'm like
anyway.
and once again, it's just trying, just like putting yourself out there and just trying. And it's like I'm excited to how I'm doing this one. I'm excited for the next thing, and it's continue to be inspired by like people around me and stuff. So,
damn, I wanted to ask you, man. Like you've taken pictures in so many places. What locations what's on your bucket list as far as locations go?
So I have a lot of stuff on my bucket list, especially because I know like I'm still early in my stages, but I think like the stuff that's more achievable within the next few years, like there's still a lot of places that I want to explore in America. So like I want to explore Texas. I think Texas would be a really dope place to shoot.
Fire.
I want to go back to California because like the last time I was there, I was just starting photography, so like I really didn't know. I didn't really have anything from it. So it's like California. I want to go to some certain small place. I want to go to DR at some point and just like I've always had like this big family project that like I've always wanted to do. I just haven't made the time or the effort. I think it's gonna take a lot of my energy. And it's like with like a lot of my family out here, with just like documenting them, maybe speaking to them about like kind of just coming from another country and all that stuff. My mom, my dad. So it's like, and I haven't initiated just yet, but I know it's in due time. It's something that I plan on doing at some point because I want to do something more with like Dominicans and things like that to kind of just represent like where we're from and like everything my parents has been, because we're first generation. I think my parents came from DR, and that's like my mom had a salon on Broad Street that was like fire. Like that shit was popping, bro. Like you can tell me shit. Like my mom's salon was like busy 24/7. It was across the street from the CVS. You know CVS on Broad Street? So I don't know if you know the jeweler in front of Broad Street?
Yeah, Joyería.
Yeah, half of that was my mom's salon.
Nice.
So like he used to have just like his spot next to it, and then half of it was my mom's salon. My mom's salon was like tiny as fuck, but it was just always packed, bro. Like it was just always packed. So it's like to have that. My dad has like a shop on Broad Street still to this day. So it's like I would like to document a lot of stuff that's a little bit more personal to me. I just think that takes a little bit more time and effort. So that's kind of like one of the things that I really want to do. It'd be cool to go to DR and document some of my family that's out there and stuff like that. So, but I'm confident that will happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. You know what I mean? But besides that, like other places, like it'd be dope to fucking shoot Tokyo and Paris and things like that. But I think those other stuff that's all in due time. Like I don't even stress it. Like I'm just like, let me kind of just see what I can do in my country. Like I'm taking pride a little bit more in like the country that I'm in and stuff like that. So it's because I still think we're grateful to be here. So
I mean, although obviously there's different landscapes all over the place, I think America kind of covers all landscapes. I think you can get, if you really wanted to act like you was in the Andes Mountains, you can go to Colorado somewhere.
Mountains, it's freaking
get some Colorado. My sister's from Colorado. Colorado,
it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah,
like next level.
One of my favorite places to do when we used to tour. One of my favorites. Yeah.
It is incredible. My sister was born and raised in Queens. Queens girl. Like Queens from the projects. Like it's like when she went to Colorado the first time, she was living in Virginia at the time. And she was like, yeah, this is amazing. She was like that she wanted to move out there. And then like within like 2 years she moved out there. And even at that, like her and her husband at the time moved out there. Then they unfortunately they ended up splitting up, but we're still like good friends with him and stuff. But like I remember him telling me, he was like, regardless of everything that went wrong, this is after they split up. He was like, regardless of everything that went wrong with me and your sister, he's like, I'm happy that she forced me to move out here. He's like, this was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And like, he didn't want to move out there, but it's like, Colorado is one of the healthiest states, too. I'm not sure if you know. Oh, really? So it's like, there's a lot of people out there that kind of encourage you to kind of actually just like work out and stuff. I remember the first time I went you ever heard of the Red Rocks?
Yeah,
I'm assuming, of course. Bro. You guys, fuck am I talking about? So like first time I went to the Red Rocks, we went like on a day, throughout the day, and there's just dozens of people working out, just running up and down the steps. Yeah. Families, people fucking going. It is just like it's dope, man. To be in that environment, to hit the highway, you just see these fucking mountains.
Yeah, no,
it's like
the landscape
you know what I
crazy.
mean? Like it's to just
mountains
see that.
Wild. The first time you see mountains, you're like, oh shit, that's kind of crazy.
This shit's legit.
Yeah. One time we were driving through Colorado, and I was like, I think I've only seen mountains in movies. I think this is my legitimate first time seeing like mountains
in person, and it is a completely different perspective. I think it is like, man, this is nature's beautiful, bro. Like legit, nature's like beautiful, you have to see it in person. Photos are nice, but it's like when you see it in person, it's just like a whole nother mentality, I think, a whole nother feeling.
You got those landscapes. You can go tropics. You can go to like obviously Florida and get like the beaches, the palm trees.
I want to go to Miami this year. My sister lives in Orlando, but I want to go to Miami, so I want to go visit her and then go to Miami.
Oh my
I think
God.
so too, with all the neon lights and all that shit.
And all the buns.
Yeah.
What?
And Florida's known for having like the craziest people, like
100%,
GTA characters
100%. He's just taking photos of buns. He might not be good at photography. He's just taking photos of girls.
I'm talking about the street vendors, man. There's always like street food and hot dog buns.
Right.
So
we always talk about hot dog buns. It's like a guy thing.
Hot dog buns for sure.
Yeah, come on, man. You know, but besides, like, have you ever like thought about? Well, for me, I think that's pretty crazy. I was just thinking about this now. I've never been there, but like even like someplace like Dubai. Because have you seen the evolution of Dubai?
Oh, of course. I remember when they first started to try to build the shit that they have now. You ever heard of probably not. You ever heard of Nike Talk?
Nike Talk
is a forum, so it was like a forum that I used to be on since I was a kid.
Forum, wow.
Yeah, crazy, right? Mad old.
I haven't heard the word forum in a while, yo.
Now it's called Reddit. Now it's called Reddit threads.
Yeah, Reddit is pretty much a forum now.
It's exactly what it is. But I remember people on this particular thing on Nike Talk. People used to post like, "Oh, this is what they want to do in Dubai," and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." I was like, but then like years passed, and then like, yo, this shit was made, and Dubai looks insane,
bro. That almost makes no sense of how like.
That money that they have, all that oil money, all that shit, they have money,
bro. Like the cities and the way that the way the city looks, and they have a full blown 7-star luxury ski resort, like full snow ski resort in the middle of the desert. What in the actual fuck?
Sign out the middle of nowhere, the desert, bro. That's what it is.
Yo, did you want to do this when you were a kid? Like, it was just like, oh my goodness, when I grow up, I definitely want to become a photographer.
I don't think I didn't have ambition.
Got it.
Yeah. I think I was too insecure to. I was too insecure to think that I could do like some of the things that I'm doing now. So I didn't think it was possible. I thought I wouldn't be able to do something like that. So I just didn't really think much of it. I would think like, oh, how cool it would be if I could make a movie or if I could do this. But like thinking that it would be cool to do something is different than actually pursuing or attempting to do something. And I thought like the attempting part, I could never get that. I always remember when I used to post like photos on my Instagram, early days, my personal Instagram, people were like, wow, you should do photography. And I'd be like, oh, thank you. Like, no, but thank you. Like, like I was just too insecure to be like, yeah, I should do photography. Yeah. I just didn't. I think when you're insecure, it's hard to see past your insecurities, especially when it's controlling your everyday life. Like it controlled me for the majority of my life. So I just didn't think much of it. Like it was just a part of the way I lived. Like it was just like, oh, I can't do that because I can't. Like,
you can do anything really.
You can do anything, but it took me, I think I had to work on myself for years and years and years to get to the point that I found confidence. And after I found confidence, then I'm just like, oh, wow, he's just a regular person. Like there's nothing special. I mean, it's special because some people have skills, but like not everybody that's successful is talented. Not everybody that's successful is smart. Like they're just putting in the work, and I didn't put in any work. Yeah. So it's like there's people that I've mocked before, and even people that I've worked with to today that as younger I mocked before because my insecurities was getting the best of me to me. So it was like I'd be like, oh, look at this person thinking they're a photographer now. Look at this person thinking, not knowing that I'm just like I'm placing my insecurities on this person. I'm projecting. Yeah. So it's just like I'm just thinking like this person really thinks they're gonna be a photographer. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just saying this to myself, just like as like a hater. But it's like my insecurities is allowing me to feel this way, and it wasn't. Once like it clicked, I was like, oh wow, I was wrong. I've been wrong for years. You know what I mean? And it's like, it changed my whole perspective on how I view the things that people were doing and like the people that try. Like I would see fucking opening artists and it could be bad sometimes. You guys know more than I.
What?
There's like some bro. I remember one time I went. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mos Def, but like Black Star.
Of course.
Yassine Bey.
Yeah. So like, me and Jabron one time went to see Black Star. They randomly, I don't know. I'm a huge Black Star fan.
Yeah.
So it was like him and Talib. So like one time randomly, there was like online. It was like, oh, they're gonna perform for 2 days, and I was like, this is fucking random. This is like years after the album came out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna perform 2 days in New York. When me and Jabron tried to get tickets, and we called, and it was like, yo, today's the show, so you have to come in to buy tickets in person. And this was in New York, and we were like, fuck. So we were like, fuck it, let's go. Yeah. And we fucking drove out there, and we drove out there, and this big ass sign that said sold out Black Star. Damn. But then like the next slide was like, oh, added another second show because it's New York, so they added like a 1 o'clock show, and then so it was like pretty crazy. We was in it till like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because the opening act, it's funny, they had 2 opening acts. And one of them was like these 2 guys that do violin. And you just never know, but they fucking crush it. They're all here fucking doing their violin and shit like that. Everybody's like, oh my God. Like
it's probably like dope songs.
Yeah, it's dope shit. And then they had this other artist that was a completely 180 from that crowd. Yeah. Bro, like he came out with a bandana. He came out talking about bitches, talking about money. And like none of it sounds good. Like it's not like, some artists could do that and sound good. Like this shit sounded whack. his manager, whoever got him this gig, it just must have just dropped the ball. And I remember he performed like one song, and then he's on his second song, and the guy behind me is like, if he performs again, I'm gonna boo him. And I'm just like, I hope that he's not for real, bro. Second song came on, third song came on, he started booing the shit out of this guy.
No,
the whole crowd started booing him.
No,
everybody's booing him, and I'm just like, this is so embarrassing. And then, like, bro, and I remember the guy was so embarrassed that he left. He was like, nah, fuck this. And he like left the stage. And the DJ's like, yo, if you want my boy to come back out, like kind of make some noise for him. Yeah. Somebody was like, boo the DJ. They started booing the DJ. So it was like, but it's like stuff like that I would find it petrifying. But like now as an adult, I'm just like, man, he had the balls to go out and do it. Like I see it a different perspective.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you know I mean, that's definitely.
Growth. So it's like, cause it's like, it's hard to get up there to, at least like in my work with street photography, like if I fuck up within myself, and like, that's pretty much it. But like when I'm spending time with somebody else, like if we're doing like a photo shoot, like photo shoots always get me extremely nervous. So it's just like, I'm wasting their time too. Like at least that's the way that I see it in my mind. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like you overthink it in that sense. You know what I mean?
That could be a little nerve wracking.
Oh, it's very nerve wracking.
Yeah. Yo, so what would you say is next for you, man? Like, you know, you have so many things. Yeah. Obviously, this is an super upwards trajectory with everything you got going on. What do you feel like is next for you? What can people expect from you coming up?
I don't know fully. I do know that I'm trying to, I think this year I'm trying to understand more of where I want to take this, because I feel that I've just been kind of winging it as I go, and just like, this looks cool. I'm going to say yes to this. But it's like, I realize that I'm just like, I need to focus on what is it that I want to accomplish, and then kind of go from that. Even with concert photography, like even with you, like you guys have given me, shout out to y'all. Y'all giving me the biggest concert photography opportunities.
There's more coming.
I've ever gotten, like by far, just like, you know, so it's like, I'm extremely grateful for that, you know? And then like, but then I also understand that like, I have to find my own way of also putting myself out there too, to the point that it's like, my name is ringing bells in that sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, making sure that I'm like, I start like reaching out to like companies, like to try to get like to work with these artists and stuff, because I have to put my face out there. Because realistically, there's people, once again, you don't have to be the most talented. There's people that don't have that much talent and they're crushing it. And I'm not shitting on them, but there's people that aren't that good.
But they just get out there.
But they get out there and they have the opportunity. And like when I was young, younger, I would think like, wow, it's just because they had the opportunity. Yeah, because they have the opportunity. They fucking took the opportunity, bro. You haven't taken shit. So it's just like, they might not have all the talent, but they have the opportunity. They took the chance, and now they're in a better place because they took it. So it's like, I can't fault anybody for doing that. So it's like, you know, I want to take that to the next level. Focus more on that. Focus more on just like the shit that I want to do with YouTube. I think there's a big opportunity in YouTube that I'm not really taking advantage of. Gotcha. So I think if I really kind of just go all in on that, I could just start. I want to travel for photography more often. So it's like with this book is all about my work all over Rhode Island, the zine, I mean.
Yep.
So it's like, it's, the
zine.
I'm calling it out of my jurisdiction, like the zine. So it's just like, so it's all of it. Thank you. So it's like all my work that I've done out of Rhode Island. So it's like, I want to start putting myself out there more to like other people to be able to see my work and stuff. So I think YouTube's going to be a very big help with me with that, but it's continuing to kind of push it down that avenue. Because I think I can do anything, man. I think, and I want to keep making like in the end, I want to be successful off of making art, not just photography. Even though photography is always like my main love, but it's like
art in general.
Art in general, man. Like I want to start making videos. Short films has always been some part of the plan in my head.
You get the eye for it.
So it's just like doing short films and stuff like that. Make an album someday. You never know, bro. I am very open. I'm very open because I think once again, like an inspiration like Gambino, that guy does whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah. So like when I see things like that, it's just like, damn, he just does what the fuck he wants. Like, you know what I mean?
Nothing's stopping you.
Nothing's stopping you, bro. So it's like, even if you make some shit and it's whack, like it doesn't matter. But you made that shit, and if you thought it was good enough at that time. That's going to lead you to the next thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's like when you sometimes I see an artist release an album and I think to myself, like, this might not be a great album, but like, this could lead to something really fucking great. That's the way that I see it. There's this album from Tyler called Cherry Bomb that is always like fans are like always up and down about the album. But I remember at the time thinking, this is such a 180 from his normal work that it's like, who knows where this is going to get him.
Facts.
And the next 3 albums are the best thing he's ever done in his career. So it's just like, when I see that shit, I'm like fucking so inspired, bro. Like I can't stress it enough.
Bro. Well, bro, with that being said, where can people find you? Give them your website, give them your IG, give them your TikTok, your Twitter.
I have yet to download TikTok.
That's
but I do have for my mistake, for my mentality, for my like peace, my mental peace. Like
don't scroll, but go in there and post. You should go in there and post.
I think at some point if I do, it'd be more about just to kind of just like show off the stuff that I do. But I definitely, you could find me on Instagram. Instagram is RafeaksPVD. On YouTube is RafeaksPVD. Everything's RafeaksPVD. Yeah, subscribe to YouTube. I don't know, you know, you guys know more about that stuff.
Hit that sub button.
Subscribe.
Like on the videos.
Like and share all that good stuff. But that's like kind of the two main places that you can find me right now. I also have a website, Rafeaks.com. Very proud of the website. You can pre-order my zine through there. So we're already 20. I'm already 20% from like of all the zines that I'm ordering 100 copies first. So I'm 20% in. Plus, so hey, order the zine before it's sold out. So
nice, yes sir.
Absolutely, man. Fire.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, listen, man. Thank you so much, Rafeaks. I really appreciate you taking time for us. Murph, Josh, Rafeaks. This has been another episode of Open for Coffee. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to his channel. Like, comment, subscribe on all the videos on our channel. Yes, we're doing this every week. We appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Make sure you tell your mothers to call us.
Yes. I like that.
What are you talking about? We don't care. 2 coffee.